All right, we are live.
Okay, welcome to the June 4th meeting of the Raleigh County Commissioners. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops. Could be, yeah. Okay, do we have any public comment?
One at a time.
Yeah.
We haven't had any good jokes for a while. These bad jokes. Oh, we had one all along. We didn't know it.
Morning, Commissioners. Michael Hawthorne, Assistant County Counselor. This is one that I told my daughter on the day she was born. What do you call a dog that's been out in the sun all day? A hot dog. Thank you.
Why are M&Ms and crayons the same?
I don't know why.
No matter which color you eat, they taste the same. I like that. You got little kids, you understand. That's what happens.
Definitely,
I'm
definitely.
guilty of that one, I think, at some point in time too, back in the early 80s.
Okay, we'll go to the Commissioner now, Commissioner Court.
Not sure I'm gonna top that last.
I know, you got another joke for us?
No, I do, but it's not coming to the brain fast enough, so we'll just move on. Monday morning, I did leave this meeting a little early to attend the American Legion Boys State of Kansas up on Kansas State University. I had the chance to meet with a group of students who are centered on civic engagement at the county level and county related issues. Gave them kind of a high level overview of what a county commissioner does and explained our duties and responsibilities. Had a great dialogue with the group. They asked some really, really good questions, seriously good questions for high school students. I was very impressed. This is a group that obviously is very engaged and informed, probably more informed than most adults are, quite honestly. We also had state level officials from state departments, the legislature, as well as municipal officials that were there for that discussion as well. Tuesday afternoon, listen in on the National Association of Counties' new webinar called Grassroots Academy Series. It's a webinar that highlights to us county officials the tools and resources available to properly engage in federal advocacy. We also received a practical overview of existing platforms and features that support that outreach and engagement, and with the guidance on how to use them. So it was rather informative. They're going to have a series of these. A lot of it's not new to me necessarily, but just understanding the tools that they have available when you need to engage with federal officials or federal staff. Spent Tuesday and part of Wednesday at work. It's summertime, so it's starting to pick up. So kind of typical this time of the year. So we're going to probably be busy till fall, which tends to be a good thing, obviously. Wednesday evening, I met and had dinner with my group of concerned constituents once again. Had a good dialogue on the topic of data centers. We're going to have that conversation a little bit later. The possible Green Valley annexation, or some of them from Pot County that are concerned. Funding of emergency services and the upcoming Supreme Court constitutional amendment, and just the midterm elections in general. Also had a conversation with a rural county citizen, and they may have reached out to you too. Issues pertaining to neighboring short-term rentals in their neighborhood. Already discussed that with Jacob. I'll have to discuss it with Amanda too, but I don't know that there's much we can do with that. Can't really enforce the policy that we have, so I don't know what we're going to be able to do with that. And keeping in mind too that with the World Cup, short-term rentals are basically free fall at this point in time until
I think mid-July.
Yeah.
Mid-July.
so maybe the reason why this particular short-term rental wants to do a separate event there. Yeah,
An event?
an event.
How
So-
big of it?
Well, I don't necessarily know. The concern is that the event itself, it's the traffic that it produces, on a rural county road in a neighborhood. So this is something that we're going to have to we're gonna have to go to the legislature at some point in time and say, hey, we need to fix for this.
Mhm.
Cause people shouldn't have to necessarily suffer at the greater hands of that. So I get, the fact that, people that own the short-term rentals obviously want to produce some sort of profit and everything, but gotta have some layers to it, or it just doesn't work. So anyway, that's basically all I've got this morning.
Okay, Commissioner McKinley.
All right, well, Tuesday morning, I spent a lot of time health department talking to quite a few different employees about stuff. We got a lot of people, good people working over there, just talking about how things
Yes,
are
we
working
do.
there. They're doing a good job. And in the afternoon, we had the meeting with the contractor on the emergency and fire remodel. There's a lot of people. When you're getting close to finished up, it gets full. There's a lot of people working in there getting it done.
Yeah, I believe
And
it.
then Tuesday evening, I attended the Leonardville City Council. They're held up on a few things because their attorney resigned last month and they haven't been able to find anyone wanting to do it. And it was the same one that he left Riley, but Riley did find someone, but Leonardville hasn't found someone to do it yet. Wednesday, I went to a meeting out at Adibus. As someone told me there, my calendar lied.
Oh, no.
So I met with one of the employees and got caught up on some of the things they were doing and stuff. And I'll be back in 3 weeks when the meeting actually happens.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Walked in, I said, here for the meeting. They went, What are you talking
Oh, they made
about?
them look at their calendar too. They're like, do we
Well,
actually have a meeting?
meeting? So. That's all I had.
That's all you got? Okay. Well, let's see, Tuesday, I had some appointments, but I had to cancel them to go to my dentist. One of my crowns fell off, so I have to go back to
Oh, wow.
extract it and.
Right.
Anyway, it's just one meeting. But after that appointment, I came into the office to get some work done. I met with Elizabeth Ward to go over upcoming schedule for a PIO interviews. I'm on that committee for interviews. We've had a few. Wednesday had an appointment with an orthopedic doctor, so this must be the week for doctor appointments. I don't know
I'm right there with you.
what
I've
the
got,
deal is, and the ones that haven't come up very often.
I've got one today and one tomorrow. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Then I came downtown to meet with a screening group for our PIO position, and we interviewed an applicant and then discussed it afterwards. And we have about 4 more to meet with. Next week.
That's good. That's
That's all I have.
For business commissioners, we just have one item, Liam Schill, a new hire, seasonal labor, public works department. Michael McNatt, intensive supervision officer 1, community corrections. David Williams, new hire, as needed intern, health department. Colt Watson, new hire, part-time customer service rep, public works. And then Jesus Lopez, customer service rep, treasurer's office, separation service.
Make a motion to approve the employee action forms as listed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the requested employee action forms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, Rob, how you doing?
Good.
Any changes in minutes, commissioners?
I'd move to approve the minutes of the June first meeting as presented.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 26th meeting as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Tentative agendas, look, commissioners. Any items for next week's press conference? No, yeah, Mr. Stuckey at 9 o'clock.
Jacob, you get a minute?
Yeah.
Little one all healed up.
Yeah, still got just a little bit of a cough, but she's doing fine now.
Good, good. Glad to hear
I didn't end up catching it, so I'm also very.
it. Yeah, that's a bonus. No doubt about that.
Oh, was she?
This one is a month and a half. The 2-year-old brought it home. Very
Oh,
confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna scare you, just saying, I woke up to the ring RSV, or, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's because of spark, that's, a lot of that age.
That's what my little ones had. So.
Oh, they have it, alright, so it is around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I think my 2-year-old had it a few months ago. And she came home with a fever one day, a little sniffly for one day, and then she was fine, probably, she was had it. And then the 1 month got it, and that was kind of.
yeah, you'd have to take her hospital in it.
And 2 emergency room visits,
Oh, geez.
just because her temperature spiked, but she was,
Her breathing, okay.
yeah, so. But she's finally over it. And, still got a little bit of a cough, but overall, she's better.
Yeah, that's good, yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Dang. I was scary when the first one got sick, but she weighed that. You were like, oh, it's sick.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Yeah.
So the one.
They have breathing treatments on her at the hospital, or just a fever?
Just the fever.
Okay.
And it frequently had some mucus out there.
Yeah.
That also.
Yeah, no, I have a 11-year-old. Yeah, little wait for the day. Yeah, that's not, yeah, it's not much of a suck at energy office.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's nice to.
Yeah. What's nice what they did. So,
Yeah.
glad the 2-year-old just finally figured out how to blow it.
Yeah.
I wish there were anybody's below, not very much stuff.
Something like that.
You for the data center talk?
Data center talk, is that coming up?
It's on, there's gonna be some today.
I don't know.
It's Amanda's gonna be heading that one today.
I just got easy things to talk about, and here comes.
All right.
Not near as polarizing as the last. Well, maybe.
Depends who you talk
I'll
to.
retract that.
Somebody actually, stereo on both sides of the data center, somebody actually, I'm curious if Amanda, somebody's like, I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, I'd be interested as well.
Yeah, because the only thing you hear is, oh, they're the, you know, the death of the community if you bring them in. Well, and I'm sure there's problems, but I say, hoping to get a,
I heard
because the people promoting them are saying, oh, they're great, great. And the other people are saying.
I heard recently, I think, and I haven't verified this yet, but there's community around Lake Tahoe that allegedly their power company said you guys have until 2027 to find another power source because we're going to focus on AI. Good luck.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, I was talking to somebody the other day. And they're from El Dorado, and there was a data center being talked about down there, and there are people saying, oh, that's gonna be horrible, that's horrible. He said, they've got a huge oil refinery in El Dorado, and they're worried about a data center.
Yeah, that's fair point.
Yeah, because this person, and she grew up there and said, and her dad worked at the she said, worry about a data center, and everybody loves the oil thing because they got jobs. Yeah. Thank you.
So what's the next few days supposed to be like, Russell?
Honestly, rain, as far as I know, I haven't looked.
Yeah,
So shit,
fair enough.
a lot of times until the weather service starts sending me emails and I know.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's probably fair.
I think we're in the clear. Said sheets. Down.
Cases I'm finding related to our issue. One's from 1939.
Yep.
The other one's 1901.
Yep.
Uh,
All well settled logic.
it sure is that. Yeah. Yep. It's a bit of a hard read sometimes. Although they tend to be very brief. Just trying to interpret it is another challenge.
Yeah. Old school, really old school lawyers love their legalese.
Yes, they do. They're Latin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The chemicals are right there, yeah. It's still a big deal. Yeah. Planes and everything else that makes them home, but. Yes. Probably the person is. 50-60 or no growth. Well, it is, seven. Seven muscles. Yeah. I mean, as far as the food sources, I mean, they get all the sources right aside of relatively new thing, right?
Yeah.
They. Folks on the ground. To Russia. Farms they run together every day, you know, Russia, kind of just. They're working out and stuff. So. Yeah. That's true, yeah, people,
You know, this is working. Yeah, yes. Yeah. Back. Stay. Yeah.
These 1901 cases, they can be brutal. They can be brutal. There's one person where they're just like the council have argued poorly, and that in the multiplicity of our labors, we cannot find a time to brief cases for litigants. We require counsel to do that. Definitely not a glowing review of the attorneys that argued that case.
One of the ones.
Yeah.
What they say.
I'll start right here. Yeah, I was like, dang, that's pretty
That is harsh.
They did not mince words in that bit.
Why that person? Yeah, but, sort of like, maybe it's- they get it back and bring it from the place, you know.
Okay. Did you read that one yet?
The actual case.
Yeah. Here.
Chip. Sign it.
Yeah.
But.
That case, I've seen all of them. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Good there.
Morning, how are you? Good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Good, good day. Said it's not. Yeah, very soon. Yeah, it's, I'm just. But, anyways, cool. Working with, I think it was built. Yeah, 1912, and I think it was raised in 1914. But yeah, it's there's a lot of fear. It's one, basically, there's part. Green monster and the short rifle fence. Just really, tight inside. There's a guy, of course, this is where. Make every baseball stadium. Yeah. Seen how many. I guess. Yeah, you and I see around with K State. Maybe. Stadium.
Michael?
Good. Oh.
Almost.
Almost.
1 minute.
Yes.
Morning, Commissioner. Russell Stuckey, Emergency Services Director and Fire Chief. Have my staff update for you. Mostly normal things, one of the big things is, like Commissioner McKinley mentioned earlier, we had our bi-weekly meeting with the architect and the builder, and they're coming along on our building, and they have flooring down in the office spaces and coming along pretty well. So pretty excited about that. They have furniture moved into the garage warehouse space in boxes, obviously yet to be assembled, but they filled it up and had to take some of the stuff back to the line because it wouldn't all fit. So we're moving along there. They got a little more concrete to pour out on the side area, outside break area, patio out there, and landscaping to do. So that's exciting. Looking forward to that. Obviously, we've had some severe weather. Luckily, the worst of it went around us. We can do the same this weekend evening. With the flood watch that we're in, so everybody should take heed to that. We got as you know, we sent our task force down to Clark County, and they got along well, and we're pretty effective down there. Everybody came back safe and sound. I think there was one goose egg on the head on one person's head, and other than that, pretty good. So got along pretty good. So we're working with the counselor's office to do some updates to the burn resolution that have been needed to be done. So we'll be bringing that to you here, hopefully within the next month or so. We
received the surplus military vehicle from Fort Lewis, and we went out to Forestry the other day and looked it over, and it's going to, I think, I don't know if they actually told me what year. I think it's, less than 20 years old, and we'll be replacing a vehicle that is 60 some years old. So with that, and so that'll be good. The Forest Service shop will go through it mechanically and make sure everything's sound mechanically on it, and then we'll take it and do the either paint or what we've done on a lot of them as a vinyl wrap to get it away from the military colors to make it look like a fire truck. And then what we're actually the tank and bed and most of the stuff on the truck we're replacing is stuff that we put on that truck not all that long ago. So we're going to be able to just transfer the majority of that stuff over to the truck. We'll probably update some emergency lighting and some of that stuff, some of the electronic stuff, if you will, but should be a pretty minimal cost to get a truck, 40 years newer. So that'll be good. We are working with the Flint Hills Regional Council. They contracted with a contractor to do a tabletop exercise, kind of focused on Fort Riley and the surrounding area, and on how a disaster would affect Fort Riley and the neighboring communities. And so we've met with that contractor already, and it was the comment they made was, well, we're glad we met with you first, because that changes a lot of things. A lot of things we pointed out on, they were looking at an old plan that wasn't actually current anymore and had a lot of flaws in it. And luckily they met with us before they got too deep into it. And we were able, my staff and I were able to kind of redirect them a little bit. And hopefully that will make the exercise much more effective and beneficial than what it would have been otherwise. I think that's really the bulk of that stuff. The other thing that I did have was our regular annual request from Pot County to use the mobile command post and a couple of light towers for their 4th of July event, which they anticipate being a lot bigger this year for 2 reasons: for the America 250 aspect of it, and a lot more people in the area with the FIFA and the soccer. They think that there's probably going to be a lot of people come down to watch a big 4th of July festival, because a lot of those kind of citizens, people really enjoy fireworks, and that's part of their soccer thing. Is and part of the ways with the FIFA and the local areas is all the fireworks that may get used to celebrate wins at the soccer matches and such. And so they really anticipate a big increase in attendance to that. So we intend to send that stuff unless the commission has any issue otherwise, but as we normally do. And you can see our run numbers, fairly normal for this time of year. Types of runs, pretty normal. Obviously we've got nice moisture, so grass fires are pretty well done. We'll be haying season here before long, and we'll have our typical hayfield fires and Baylor catch on fire that catches the hay on fire and such. But all the course of doing business. On our newsletter there, you'll see where we highlighted. Everybody wasn't in that picture, but some of the task force members that went. And I know Commissioner McKinley, mentioned to get them in here and recognize them, and we'll get that arranged here sooner than later. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right, thanks.
Thanks much, and Michael Bowler at 9:15. Flat section in it.
Mm-hmm. Right there.
To let you know, John, I'm gonna have to leave on Monday's meeting at 10:45,
Okay.
and then. I gotta get that.
Yeah, it's pretty important.
Yeah, they
Okay.
could only work me in, you know, because it has to heal for 3 weeks.
I gotta go through a series of tests here the next 2 days myself, so totally understand.
Yeah, I think the one item just is at 11. I think that's it. Hensler, I
Yeah,
think,
that's what-
museum, and I think that's at 11, so. I can, if I can get there by 11 o'clock to the doctor's office. Then I'm back to the interviews later on, so hopefully I'll be all swallowed up.
Mhm. You'll have to write it down on paper and hold it up on the call.
Yeah. I thought it forewarned warnings,
Yeah, no, it's
so if I slip out.
Yeah.
They may,
Understandable.
she may be done. Normally don't schedule that. Oh, Monday, but just. that's what it's on the head.
Yeah.
Might be able to move some stuff up there to make it work too.
Yeah, it's funny, I was just sitting in my office and then I fell out.
If they didn't do it right the first time, it should be on them.
County. I took the last pieces of the original tooth out.
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had those issues since I was a kid, but I'm not a kid anymore either, so.
Yeah, and I didn't realize crowns, they can't, when they do the x-rays, they can't see through them.
No, that's how they know they're there. Yeah, last time I went to the dentist, he went, "Oh, you got a here, here, and here," and I'm like, "Well, how do you know that?" Well, it shows up on the X-ray. You look at it, it's dead black on there.
Yeah. Check the
Yeah,
bad.
that's what it's to do, is to take care of that, but
Yeah.
that's not always the case.
So that private rights bid is in, so that private rights bid is in.
Apparently, they haven't gotten the AC fixed yet, have they?
So I think it shouldn't be affected by any bit of that new law. Or new proportion.
I guess it was the breaker,
Said it was something with the condenser.
blew up or something.
I guess better to have it blow up now than when it's 105 out.
Yeah, it's not that bad up to there. So you like your neighborhood, you're living
Yeah,
in, good people, good.
yeah, it's.
um,
Quiet.
and there's kids on there.
At the end of the block, there's 3 houses with a bunch of kids that goes out. But
Mhm.
you just slow down as you're leaving, because
Yeah.
when the ball goes out, I
Right.
just outside and start running, he stopped, saw me, and I just stopped. No, got it.
I wouldn't go up the phone.
I have some
Everybody-
kids that have.
everybody
they play
knows.
this.
Who knows the- Yeah, they've got a basketball on one of the driveways. It's
Mhm.
loose. They're playing baseball, still sitting behind,
Oh, really?
all kinds of stuff going on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I'm not sure how many kids there are between the three houses, but they're all the size and small.
all one side, yeah, little kids.
A lot of the kids are retired.
We have a lot of young people in my neighborhood, more starter homes, but real expensive. They're on. I don't know how they.
Over by Seco.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got, in a couple of years ago, price said it's all either young or very old, because it's been an old neighborhood. This says, right after we moved in, house next door had an estate sale, that way, it passed away. And months later, there's a estate sale across the street, because that lady sold that one, because she would give to a nursing home.
Yeah,
So it's, so you can see the changing over.
changing over.
That, it's one thing, because it's
Yeah, there's more people asking.
more affordable.
Yeah, it would be.
Because we look, like I said, that was my district, so.
Yeah.
Because we used to live over there, we
Yeah.
liked it, but. They're usually a little under two.
Well, if the interest rates are going down, it's help people out a lot. But
Interest rates are not bad. My first house was 11.
yeah, I remember
People
those.
forget.
days.
Yeah.
That the people forget.
And
And that wasn't the highest. And that wasn't the highest.
Somebody, because, you know, like a few months after we got it, they wouldn't make loans because Kansas had a usury law. You couldn't charge more than 11% interest. So they couldn't make them and they had to change it. And they went up to 14%. So
Mhm.
I thought mine was bad, but I'd say a year later, it was even worse.
A
We
lot
got
of just people today, they're trying playing the game of, wait for interest rates to lower, well, wait for it to lower, but the price of the house is going up as long, while you're waiting too.
Yeah.
It's true.
As I say, it doesn't make sense to do that, just buy if you're gonna buy.
What is it, around 6% now, 6 point something?
I don't know either
What's that?
what it is right
New
now.
home, yeah, new home,
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't kept track.
around 6. Okay, Michael.
Well, good morning,
About that.
commissioners. Mike Buller with your favorite noxious weed staff update. We've got lots of stuff to talk about. It's a busy time of year for us. We have completed our solid spraying on sections 1 and 2 of the county. That's been done. We're going to start spot spraying for musk thistle and field bindweed. That'll start this week. We've had 6 township contracts and of course KDOT contract this year. We've had a couple of new townships that haven't contracted with us in the past, but are giving it a try. We have one township that usually does contract with us, but they chose not to this year, and now they've been inundated with complaints on their township about musk thistle on their road. So they're like, "We kind of screwed up. We won't be doing this moving forward. We're going to ask you to come back." So have received some phone calls on that, and they are going to try to, get those hand sprayed or dug. They may have to just go out there and dig them. Bare ground spraying continues this month. And we've had several delays overall on spraying. Of course, we've had lots of rain, which is good, but we've also had lots of wind. So we are really scrambling to catch up on all of our spraying, and that includes bare ground. We're hoping to get that completed this week. But a side part of that is while my guys are out spraying, they're not out mowing. And so you may have noticed some roads are starting to get fuzzy, and you may get some calls on that. We're looking to target Anderson here pretty quick. Anderson in all of the county is starting to get a pretty good outbreak of poison hemlock. And I've showed you what that looks like before, but it'll grow about 4 or 5 foot tall right now. It's got white flowers on it, and the stem is very purpley veined. Of course, it's a poisonous plant, poisonous to livestock, but it is indigenous to Kansas. It's actually not a noxious weed. But there's some growing right alongside the road, all up and down Anderson, and it's getting tall. So it's on our radar. Please be patient, but we have started our first round of mowing, but we're only about 15% complete just with the rain. We can't tear up the shoulders. Our tractors are heavy. So Mother Nature even controls that. She dictates a lot of what our work schedule looks like. So if you do receive some calls from some people that are concerned about mowing, just let them know it is on our radar, and I'm going to here next week, probably need to delay some spraying and get all hands on deck and get started on our mowing. So if you do feel some concerns, that's where we're at. Musk thistle, which is a noxious weed in Kansas, is a stage of growth where it needs to be sprayed very soon before it goes to seed. We, as I mentioned, have had a very great plentiful spring with rain. And with that brings crops, and with that also brings noxious weeds. And the entire state is dealing with quite a bit of musk thistle, and Riley County is no different. We've got a couple of outbreaks. I'm sending out letters now to folks to reminding them or letting them know. And so hopefully we're going to start to get a grasp on that. Amur honeysuckle. This is an interesting one that I've talked to the commission about. And effective May 16th, 2026, it did become a noxious weed. We do have a large infestation of it in Kansas or in Riley County. Particularly, a lot of it is within the city of Manhattan, which we do have a memorandum of understanding with the city that they do take care of noxious weeds within the city limits of Manhattan. What this is going to look like, I'm not completely certain. We do now have cost-share chemical for it, which is glyphosate and triclopyr or Pasturgard. And we do here at Riley County, or I am recommending that we do a cut and then stump treatment as opposed to just dousing the entire canopy with glyphosate. I have a couple of photographs here of what we are dealing with. And if you close one eye and squint real hard with the other, I don't know that you can call that a weed. This particular one, everything that you see green in this photograph, this was taken in early spring. Everything that you see in there is honeysuckle. That particular one is over 25 foot tall. So just overnight, the weed department became the forestry department, and we're not really built for that. I let KDA know my concerns about that, but it is what it is. And so we're going to do our best. The bottom photograph is a smaller bunch of honeysuckle, but you can see how thick this particular bush or tree, however you want to look at it, how dense it is. And the thing about it is all the branches are interlocked. So even if you try to cut one branch off and try to pull it out, it's extremely labor intensive. And what we're recommending is folks get in there and cut it all out and then stump treat it. It's invasive. It also has an allelopathic nature about it, so it will choke out everything else around it. A lot of folks, if you hear that, well, the birds eat the seeds, actually the Audubon Society supports that it became a noxious weed, and that the seeds, the berries are really watery. They don't have a high fat content. And so migratory birds will eat them. They will feel full, but they won't have the fat content, and then inevitably they'll freeze to death. So that's another part of why we need to eliminate it. It's not good for birds. People think, and the birds will eat it, but it's not good. So overall, just a reminder that Riley County does have cost-share chemicals for landowners for the treatment of noxious weeds. Please contact our office for any assistance you may have. And we also have spray instructions out there for the Amur honeysuckle. If you get the opportunity, McDowell Creek Road and Stag Hill are absolutely infested with it. If you drive up Stag Hill, starting at the El Tapatio, I believe is what it's called, down there at the base, and drive up, anything that you see that looks like a bush or a tree that's below 20 feet is Amur honeysuckle. It's just absolutely infested with it. McDowell Creek Road is pretty bad as well. I had the Kansas Department of Ag representatives go with me, along with a company called Corteva, which is a herbicide company, just to get a grasp of how what we're up against in the county. Corteva is actually doing some test plots, of some different basal style treatments here in Riley County, just because we have so much of it. A lot of the urban counties, Sedgwick County, Shawnee County, have the same problem we have. The good news is, Amir honeysuckle has never really affected yields in agriculture. You're never going to hear that my soybean field got chewed up by Amir honeysuckle. So that's a good thing. But our draws in forested areas are suffering severely because of it. Our next HHW collection, I missed the 3 after June 1. It's not June 1st, it's June 13th down at Howie's. Nobody ever remembers it by the date. They always remember it by SS, second Saturday of the month. So it's not terribly important, but that is a misprint on my part. It's the 13th. We'll go down there. Again, wildly popular. If you have an interest of the people that want to recycle and take care of HHW, come down there on a Saturday with us. We'll often serve 80 to 100 people in for us. So with that, it's just a busy time of year for us. Be patient a little bit on mowing this year. We're getting to it. But that's something that people focus on, and you have my word here next week. We're going to be all hands on deck with mowing. So we're going to get back ahead of it. Any questions, commissioners? None on noxious weeds.
We didn't have Cerisi.
Cerisa lespedeza? Yep, that's something that's big in Riley County. We spray it this time of year, but really you want to target Cerisia more in the late summer, early fall. We have a chemical called Escort, which is extremely cheap and it's very effective. You can treat an acre of it for $2 for an ounce of this product, and it works really well. We've got a really good tool against it. We've got a good plan of attack on Cerisa, Amir honeysuckle. I really don't know what that's going to look like without a lot of vast resources to get in, and chainsaws and backpack sprayers, that sort of thing. Shawnee County is utilizing drone spraying for theirs, but their drone program is measured in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You also have to have a pilot's license, and I can assure the commission I won't be coming before you asking for a $200,000 drone and a pilot's license anytime soon. But it is an effective tool for them to be able to treat that. If you have no further questions, okay, thank you, commissioners.
Thanks, Commissioner. We have Amanda Webb at 9:30. Hey, Amanda. Good.
Amanda, do you have a minute? Take her up too. Yeah.
Michael, you want I don't know before.
Two attorneys. Must be serious.
Oh, no, okay, 90 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Really?
Ugh. Don't make me happy. Looks like they pushed the rain back a little bit.
It's hotter, it's windy again. Get out there, get the weeds out. It's cooler in here. I wonder if they got the air on.
Need to.
I know the fans, but
Right on time. It's around time. It's 9:29.
Okay. Amanda.
Thank you. Apologies for that. Just wanted to prepare for a couple things. So good morning all. Amanda Webb, Riley County Planning Director, here with actually April and May report for planning and development, since of course we had budget talks last month instead of our updates. There are a couple specific things. I want to spend most of our time on the Make My Move Home in the Heartland grant with that. But if you have any other questions, of course, please let me know. But two things I want to hit on before that. I feel I'm a little disorganized at the moment. I apologize. Take a second. Yeah. Okay. So real quick, so with Keats, we always like to start with Keats, and I know I emailed all of you. We did get the guidance from EPA for the $1 million grant that Senator Moran's office had earmarked for us. It's not small and simple, as you all can imagine. So I've been wading through a lot of the documentation. Attended a few of the highly recommended webinars, which have been really, really helpful. And I'm kind of starting to, what really helps is, of course, we're already so far into this program. This project, we already have a lot of the information. It's just a matter of compiling and getting them what they need. But the next step I'm waiting for, I have to have a kickoff call with our project officer. And I have that assigned. I have their information. We're just trying to connect about getting that scheduled. They have over 1,100 projects, not my project officer, but EPA across the country. So they have said, it's going to take a little bit, have some patience and whatnot, but they will get to everybody. So kind of doing what I can in the meantime.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you can work with Chance Hurley, staff director, and Jerry Moran's office too. They
Okay.
can provide any assistance. They're
Yeah.
more than willing to do that.
Perfect. Yeah. Again, it's not going to be a quick process. I don't know when we'll be able to get through everything and when funds will be allocated. I believe, as I've mentioned before, this will impact the USDA grant. I just don't know how yet. So again, a lot of different things I'm working to find out what needs to be done and what those impacts are going to be. But of course, I'll keep you updated as we make it through everything. So that's the one thing I wanted to mention about Keys. Did you have any questions about that? Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is I went to the data center presentation that Potco EDC and the Call Valley Chamber put on last night. Of course, it was spurred from the potential project out there near Jeffries Energy Center, but it wasn't specific to that project. It was more about data centers as an overall. They have kind of a technical advisory, a work group that they put together that are just researching, educating, trying to understand what these are all about. So it was actually a really helpful informational presentation that they gave last night. They had a water expert there specific to data centers who gave some information. And then a gentleman from the state who talked about Senate Bill 98. And then a lot of different things they talked about that they're either still researching or just really wanting to make sure they understand before they go forward. So I have a bunch of notes. I'm going to type them up and send them to all of you so you have it. Then of course, this morning at 10:20, we'll hear from Oleg Alba from Acre Strong. He'll give us some information again, just general information about data centers and what to consider. And I'm hoping after the information I'll give you from last night and his presentation this morning, we'll start to be able to think about how we want to move forward. So any questions or comments on that? Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about the Make My Move program. The biggest piece of information is we have met our goal. We now have 11 movers, that 4 are already here and 7 are on their way, either currently on their way or within the next month or two. They've all signed leases, they have jobs, and they've done the MOU. So they've done all the required information and they're on their way. If you remember, the program overall was 20 households, 10 in the first year, 10 in the second year. Again, we have 11. So we have submitted our status paperwork to the state. And so we should be getting the second half of our grant here shortly. So, and we have, so let's see, I said 11, we have 8 additional folks already in the queue. And this is as of this morning. As I tell you, this changes like on a daily basis. So as of this morning, we have 8 more who are basically ready to go. We have 4 in the accepted phase, which basically means they've secured the job, they've done the MOU, they just need to secure housing and, you know, submit a lease or whatnot. And then 4 in the offered where they've secured or bringing a remote job. They have their job. Now they just need to fill out their MOU and secure housing. So we have 8 more that are right there. So, and several of them have jobs with K-State, have jobs with USDA 383. So they are folks who are going to come here and live in our community. They just need to do that next step of securing housing. So it's going. I mean, we're probably going to hit our 20 in the next few months, likely. So,
Not going to be surprised if they use this as an example when they decide to go and ask for funding again, which they'll have to do this year.
yeah, absolutely.
They're going to ask for more. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, I think we've really shown that to be pretty successful once. And it was a slow start. Y'all remember that. It took a little bit. You know, we kind of started in winter. You know, nobody's really moving in winter. You know, and it took a little bit of time to, you know, put the background together. But really, kind of once all of that was set, you know, and now with it being spring and almost summer, it's just the right time. So, so just wanted to share about that success, that we hit our goal. And I have information about the movers, if you would like it. You know, some of them, it's all over the board. Some are just single adults coming here. Some are 2 adults. Some have families, you know, children.
That was my question. I wondered what kind of mix we were getting.
Yeah, and I can send you all that if you'd like. But
And
again,
where they're moving, you know, are they
So-
all in the city or where?
yes, so we have one that has moved here already that was in Ogden. The rest of them have been in Manhattan. So, and of the 11, 10 are renting and 1 has purchased a home. So,
Oh,
so we really do have a wide variety. And of the 19, like the 19 total, again, we have the 11 that are already set. And then I mentioned the 8 extra. They are there is not a repeated state here. They're from all kinds of 19 different states, basically. So they're coming from all over. Again, they're variety of family sizes from 1 adult to, multiple children. Most of them have jobs in the community. A few have brought their remote jobs, which is allowable. So just a really wide variety of folks and places they're coming from. So.
I'd say the important thing there is if they're bringing kids, it's about $17,000 per child for school funding. If we've got more than 2 kids involved in that equation, we paid for it on our end. We've paid for it already. We've made up the difference, if not more. So.
So the other thing I want to talk about, and it's still related to the Make My Move program. So this is their homepage, basically the Make My Move homepage, and you can see just the different communities that when people arrive on this homepage, they'll see these different things, and you can see here's ours in the middle there, live and work local in Riley County. Click on that, and that's kind of what our homepage looks like. So the Make My Move folks recently reached out to Allison and I about, instead of saying Riley County, saying Manhattan. The reason for that, and I'm going to do my best to explain with what they gave me, but basically it has to do with how far into our program people are exploring, what they call a click-through rate. So when people are seeing, Riley County here on the homepage in the mix of all these different programs, how common or how far are they going to click in to find more about our particular program? And they're saying that, let's see, since the beginning of this year, Riley County has averaged a 3.25% click-through rate. That's the rate at which an impression on MakeMyMove.com turns into a click to read more about the program community. So basically, clicking in to our actual program. That's what that is. What they are saying is the average click-through rate during the same period for communities on Make My Move similar in size to Riley County was nearly 6%. So almost double. Just kind of reading through some of this to give you the highlights. So it wouldn't change, any of the parameters for the program. And what they also said is we want to say Manhattan, Kansas, when they land on this page, we can give additional information about all the different communities in Riley County. It doesn't have to just be Manhattan specific. What they're trying to do again is increase our click-through rate, basically increase when somebody actually clicks on it, comes to see what we have to offer. So I've gone back and forth on it, and again, got more information on them. It makes sense why they're recommending it, but I wanted to know from you folks what you think about that. I think it would be important to have, if we do that, make sure we have information on our page here about all the different communities, and that's not just Manhattan.
Well, we're having a lot of success
Yeah.
as it is, so I don't know why we would want to change it, really.
That's what, because it was October, right? That's when it started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, we've already, if all the ones that are in line, we'd have the 20 probably in the first year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's been pretty successful. I'm not sure, and I don't know if on that page list the different communities within Riley County, and I don't know if that's on there somewhere or not, but
Sure. But that's, I'm sure, information they could put on anyway.
yeah.
So.
But I saw it said the home to Kansas State University, but it might just say, man, the communities of,
Right.
community
Yeah.
somewhere.
We can
Right.
add that.
Like I say, it's been way more successful than I expected already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta agree. And the other thing is,
People are clicking on it.
Well, and they may be clicking on it because it does say county and not a city.
Right.
Quite honestly, I didn't see another county one up there, so. If it's not broken, I don't think we need to try to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was my initial reaction. I wanted to leave it as Riley County. Because that's really what it is. I understood, what they were trying to recommend and why, and just trying to incur we're doing. But as you all pointed out, we have 350 in our pipeline as well. So I'm only talking about the 19 that we already have, proceeded on. We also have 350 people, applicants in there. So it sounds like we're doing okay.
I would wonder if the website host gets ad revenue through how many clicks they get.
Yeah.
And that's why they're pushing to have more clicks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does it and I haven't clicked on it, but is there a thing there like we can highlight some of the businesses in the rural area, like the restaurants or some of the things that are going on in the.
I'm pretty sure we can populate this however we want.
No,
So if
like
there's
the-
other information you folks would like to have on there, I can absolutely ask to have that information.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things going on that could be
Yeah.
on there that what might attract people,
Right. Yeah.
in the smaller communities.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you folks want to take, some time to look over what we have here. And then just let me know if there's anything you'd like to add or, whatnot, and I can pass that information to the Make My Move folks so we can get that updated. So they've been really great to work with. They've been very supportive. So again, I can't imagine if we want to add stuff to this, that's going to be an issue. So in your packet, you have the web address for the program. So it's in there. So yeah, if anytime you want to click in and let me know, or we could go through it together, however you want to do it, happy to do that. So, but what I'm hearing is we want to leave it as Riley County. Perfect. I wanted to double check with you folks and not just make the decision, just in case you had a different thought, but we're all on the same page. All right. That's what I want to talk about. Did you have any other questions about anything else in my packet? I know there was a lot. I really wanted to spend some time on this, but okay. Thank you very much.
Corey Meyer. Might want to open that door back up. It got closed.
All right, good morning, Commission. Corey Meyer, ITGIS Director here for staff update. Things have been going on in the last month. Outside of regular help desk calls, continued to review pricing in regards to budget and so forth. Nothing to update as any good news other than the saying that prices are up and they're holding steady on all products, materials. We're seeing that across the board in other projects we're working on with the courts. We're going to be doing some audio video upgrades in the 3 large courtrooms. Bid we had 2 months ago, they needed to do a quote refresh on it and it was $10,000 higher. It's the trend that we're seeing on things. And so that pattern continues there. In regards to courts, Chris and I had a meeting with Kathy Oliver and 2 of the staff from the Department of Justice and their IT to talk about the future of what the state is intending to do as far as potentially taking over some of the IT support services for courts. They are phasing some things in that they're trying to do, but they're trying to establish and get themselves set up at the state before they do that. But they are in consideration that they may go forward with taking over some support or all support when it comes to courts. And so we will have meetings, not regularly right now, but as things get closer and meeting with them. as they're doing some of these and they're helping some of the smaller counties, they're also having equipment replaced that allows them to be able to support them. Kind of took us into a little bit of a conversation about when Ed brought up a potential judicial center here in Riley County, and they said as that gets down the road, they would like to probably have some conversations when there's a design and an idea, because if they're going to go that direction, then they might want to speak with us about what equipment and so forth would go in. That way, we're not putting something in that's going to be short-term potentially replaced. So as we have those meetings and continue to go forward, when it becomes relevant, then I will bring that information to John. I let him know a little bit about that, and then whatever the committee or whomever is with that. But there's a lot going on there. We're continuing to move forward in our migration from what's called VMware to Hyper-V. This is where I presented on that our server platform, the high licensing cost increase, and so we're migrating those over. It's part of our server 2025 upgrade that we'll be doing between now and March of next year. It'll be a migration of over 80 servers over into that platform as we continue to work on that. The EM building remodel, you've heard from Russell this morning, but it's getting to the point where we will be extremely busy out there. The wiring and cabling will all get started next week. The systems are going in, and then we have all of our equipment prepped and ready so that we can begin to do the installs. I think the timeline there is in the last week of June or into the first week of July. We'll be starting our equipment installs to get them in. It looks really good in there. It's looking really good. As Russell said, though, it's very busy right now. Everybody in for, I think Commissioner McKinley said too, I believe, I'm sorry, I think that was you, that, yeah, when we were over there, boy, it is swarming. It is swarming. That is the right word there. Yeah. So the ITGIS remodel, so that was publicized last week. We have a pre-bid meeting for any of those who want to bid on the project next Tuesday on the 9th at 9:30. Then bids are to be into the clerk's office 5 p.m. on the 17th. They will be here for you to do a bid opening on the 18th. In preparation of moving forward with that project, we have been working here in this building. We've been in what was EM. There's a rack and a lot of equipment in there. That is the core of this building. If that goes down, the whole building goes down. So that obviously has to be moved before the remodel can begin. So on June 19th, that is Friday, that's also a holiday, we will take down the entire network of this building to move that equipment to a temporary location in one of the old interview rooms in community corrections. We have checked with community corrections in particular to make sure they didn't have anything going on that day. But that Friday, June 19th, there will be no network for probably a 4-hour period here in this building as we move that equipment. Reorganization planning, as was asked and you said to move forward with, John and I have been meeting about where administrative services and how to do those moves and so forth. We have information, ideas, and so forth. We'll present to you on the 11th next week. That's when it's on your schedule to discuss that again. So we will talk with you then about that. Monitor upgrades. We moved forward with some upgrades in the clerk's office this morning. We'll be doing public works third quarter of this year. Laptop and desktop replacements. I'm waiting until the end, get into the fourth quarter. Hopefully we can obtain the best Dell pricing at that time. That's when they will be at the end of theirs, and they will offer the best we can on costs. The health department's EMR, it had some delays to it, as probably you are aware of, but they have reestablished a go live date. And so we're working with them to help in the assistance of the data conversion, which will be tricky. But I'm working with Kayla Mathis out there, and but I'm confident we'll find a solution in moving that forward. Public Works conference room, I do have a proposal for that. It is one that I will be bringing forward to probably list on CIP. Very large conference room. It's going to come with a number, but it will, as I've said before, go forward to be able to have screens. That way we don't have to turn the room off all the time. The projector's starting to go out. We better to put money towards a system like what we have in here than towards an old antiquated and continue to use pull down screen and those kind of things. It's a highly used conference room out there as well. Our IBM AS400 is due for a software upgrade, which we will do in 2026. And so there will be a scheduled time where there will be a weekend that upgrade is done. Of course, I will be coordinating that with clerks, treasurers, and appraisers office. That particular system runs what is known as Comtech that we have. And then we're beginning to plan and price out for its physical replacement in 2028. That is when that box will become end of life. In GIS, we've had a lot of data updates to be doing, and we're continuing to review our imagery. We've not had the most satisfying results. I've got a meeting coming up here at 11 o'clock where I will do my best to stay professional with them as I give them my thoughts and opinions. But they will hear from me in stern words on some things. The biggest thing that we're working on is planning for our Esri upgrade that we will be doing next year. Again, I've spoke with that it's now AI embedded inside of that, how we will be doing a full rebuild and setup of our entire Esri application that we have. It will take 8 servers to be configured to run that. Nice thing is we run that all in a virtual environment. I don't get deep in the weeds on explanation, but we already have all of the resources in place. It's just a lot of back end work to do, but I got the best in the state up there in our GIS team, and it will be highly successful and it will be great. So one of the other things that they've done is they recently assisted RCPD in upgrading their GIS software on their servers. So we extend those services out to our partners that we work with, the city and RCPD and so forth, and helping them. And because we have a lot of collaboration of information that goes back and forth between us. Lastly, I will be on vacation from June 13th to the 20th. I will be in Canada, and I have no idea if I will have any service, but I am so happy and comfortable and confident to be able to go on this trip because of my IT and GIS staff, that everybody will be very well taken care of. And so I am looking forward to that trip as I go. Outside of that, if there are any questions or anything, I'd be happy to answer.
You explain the situation with the equipment and the fans and air and what we need to be focused on there, because that
Yes,
seems
sir.
to be.
The mark on the screen here is due to heat buildup inside this cabinet. Actually, between this morning when you saw me and now, I've already ordered 2 fans to go inside the cabinet, as well as ventilation that comes in. Those will arrive next week. Once we get the ventilation in, then I'll change out the monitors so that we don't have this happen to a second one in here. It's a matter of heat, and then it's a very closed off box, but we will adjust that. We also have a platform that we could do to move this computer completely out from underneath, and we'll put it on the side over here, but we're monitoring that. We already have a solution ordered that will get taken care of next week.
Okay.
So,
In terms of room temperature.
Feels like it's
Yeah.
temperature, yeah.
the AC is working
Yeah,
again.
I know that.
I'm sure you've all felt that. I did talk to Jerry. It's an interesting story, one that I do not have the electrical knowledge to explain.
Shocking.
Shocking indeed. He had a very bewildered look on his face.
Oh,
So, yes,
Between the condenser
but-
and the condenser across the way. It's,
yeah. He said that it was about a 2-foot spark that shot out of there when he tried to flip it back on outside. So luckily, hey, he's fine. But he was, he's like, I'm wide awake now. So, yeah.
Oh, we can turn some of these fans down,
Yeah.
then they're blowing things.
But yes, so we'll have 2 fans that dissipate the heat out of here, as well as better
Right.
ventilation. So yeah, we'll have to take care of it. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Hanson,
Yeah.
10.
I'll get turn them down when I get up there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 'cause they're.
His room
In
in the
the,
new building, in the
oh, wow.
Who's?
IT, because he's work.
Yeah.
That's almost as many as in the headquarters.
I
There's some more on, there's some more on the other wall, the other direction.
Wow. Have fun.
I'm showing you the nest.
Yep, yep. It will look all nice and pretty when it's done.
I'm for sure, for sure. Okay.
Everybody?
Good to see you. I go inside and come up.
Yes, that's what that is.
Okay.
Hey, Jacob.
All right, ready? All right, good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hanson, Riley County Council here for administrative work session. I only have a couple really things to update the commission on. Probably the most exciting is that we know that our Supreme Court case decision's coming down tomorrow. So I'll be certain to update you guys on that, what the implications are. I feel relatively confident that will come out where we should. So that will be exciting to see. One of the other things that recently were completed were the Keith easements. We had one outstanding landowner who refused to sign any temporary easement. And as a result, we went ahead and recorded our letter. That way, putting anybody on notice who would purchase the property, knowing that there's going to need to be probably some significant investment into the sewer infrastructure that they have opted out of. So we've got that accomplished as far as key easements now and legal matters, hopefully for the time being. I'm gonna knock on wood, at least no legal issues for now.
But that one won't be,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen is so the temporary easement was for the construction of the sewer line, the demolition of the tank, and then connecting them ultimately. And that was all paid for, of course, through the financing of the sewer district itself. But we need to have them sign those easements.
those won't be, we won't get that.
Yeah. So what'll ultimately happen is in the future when it inevitably fails, he won't be allowed to repair it or replace it. He'll have to do it consistent and hook into the line. And he'll have to pay it in the future.
Well, the landlord pays for the whole, it's part of the taxing district anyway, so they're paying for it anyway.
Yeah, to a certain
Yeah.
extent. Now, the total cost now, I'm sure there's going to be some cost that will be saved of not connecting him, right? Because we're talking about labor and whatnot, but it'll be minimal and you the person won't have the benefit of having it included in special assessments, which is absolutely a benefit. So that's where it lies. We're happy that it really is only one landowner. So
That's-
True.
Yeah.
There's always one.
Well, that was tough.
Yeah.
And then we are still in the process of reviewing TIF and STAR bond policies to come up with one consistent for the county to review and to implement. You know, as we are aware, the city has got both a TIF and STAR bond hearing on middle of
16th.
June, the 16th. That's right. So we're monitoring that closely. And we're going to present to you guys when we have a full picture of what that looks like here in the near future. But the options that the county can and cannot do as it relates to these districts. So any questions at least on TIF and STAR bonds?
Yeah, is there a difference between that being private and public property?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we are looking into is that in order for the county to kind of have that veto power, it has to include privately owned land subject to ad valorem taxes. That's very specific in the statute. So from our review right now, it's not public, not privately owned land, and that privately owned land that is in the district is not subject to ad valorem taxes because it's tax exempted due to educational facility or that a specific tax exemption. So it is looking like we're not going to have an option to do anything as it relates to those districts. So, but we're going to do a little more digging, see what else can be done, and we'll work with other staff and get a better idea.
Well, what happens, you know, those retail for profit within that district, so how does that affect the taxes?
That's absolutely part of the question, part of the analysis that we're doing at this time. While this isn't necessarily completed analysis, the way these TIF districts work, specifically as it relates to TIF districts, is once you freeze the base valuation, it appears that the legislature does not allow for any deviation, a reduction, or an increase after the fact. And it considers what is taxable at that time. That's why they consider it frozen, right? So anything that happens after that fact, whether if tax exemptions no longer exist, that all that tax money is still going to be utilized in the mechanism that's detailed in the TIF payment structure.
Okay.
So it can certainly be that way, as is usual with tax law.
So you can kind of look at the Aggieville district right now, because that's what you can compare, but keep in mind that's private property, not public. So
Exactly, private
night and day
and
difference with
not
that.
subject and subject to
Right.
ad valorem taxes,
Yeah.
which doesn't seem to be the case here. One of the other things that I'm working on, of course, is I want to review our standard contractual provisions attachment, just kind of update it, make sure it's all consistent with recent case law, recent statutes, any amendments to that, and just trying to make sure the county continues to have a good legal posture with our standard contracts. So that's one of the more general things that I'm working on. Outside of other typical agreements that I'm helping other departments work on, any other kind of confidential work that we do is going as planned, but obviously I can't speak to too much specificity on those. So happy to answer any questions or thoughts, concerns that the commission may have. Okay, thank you.
2020 Commissioner Jenny Amanda Webb on data centers.
Guys got a minute?
I told him I was available one day.
So that's fine.
But if we'd have nothing to say about it, sort.
Yeah, well, because I go to the city meetings, I live in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as a commissioner, but just as a resident of the city, asking questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's your constitutional right.
Well, I live in the city too, so,
Yeah.
but we can't go together.
Yeah, because we're not discussing county
You could,
business.
yeah, as long as you guys don't talk to each other. You're not talking about, well, it may not be county business, so. I would say as long, again, if you guys just get up, don't talk while you're there.
Yeah, don't talk
Obviously.
about it, but just if we want to get up in public comments.
Yep, absolutely.
Interesting. Coming up, isn't it? What day is that?
So June 16th, so that is Tuesday,
Isn't it? I think it's 6.
2 weeks.
I think I put it down somewhere. 16?
Yeah,
At 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I've got that down, and it's at City Hall.
Is it at 6 o'clock?
Yeah,
it likely is.
yeah, I put down here at City Hall, but it's talking about the Champions Gate. That's our regular meeting time, isn't it? Tuesdays.
I believe so. That sounds right.
So be in their regular meeting.
Long meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wonder where they're gonna put it, in the front of the beginning or the end.
Oh.
I guess. So, yes. These are,
Yeah.
yeah, me too, resumes, I read these off the desk.
Morning.
Short this week.
Hear a lot of good things about you.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
I believe so.
You believe some of them?
Sorry.
Who do I need to pay? I need to know who to pay.
Yeah, okay. We can get you a list.
Good, how are you? Good. Started working on, learning more about the fact.
Oh, but,
About that committee. So I've got the bylaws. And some of the last meeting minutes. Kind of sparse.
yeah, yeah.
So, but, we're gonna change how we're doing it to be more open, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I just, I don't know, I don't know, right, but the ability to influence, ability to help, I guess.
Right, yeah, absolutely, and I've got to figure out how you guys can help.
Yeah.
That's the one of those parts is, okay, how, so, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and it's, yeah, and I know you're unique. This is one of the many things you have to play.
Right, no, absolutely. We're getting there.
You're involved.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. So,
Yeah.
sorry, guys, I'm sorry. Thanks for making it forward. After baby shower's done, we can change this, but we oversees that.
Good call. Still learning. Took me a while too, to be fair. You too, yeah.
No, notice that you're gonna be YouTube famous.
Yeah.
It's like a slick and bumper sticker, right?
Yeah.
That one show. You know, you got the two battling against each other and the board, top 6 answers on board.
Oh,
Family.
Boy,
that one makes a lot of people YouTube famous.
Oh.
Man, I didn't even think about extra people coming in for the Wamigo 4th of July. I'm planning on being there like 3 hours early.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to start at 10, right? It's supposed to start at 10.
Mm.
So if I get there at 7, I'm thinking I want to be on a back rural road.
I'm gonna say, if you go into town, you won't get out.
Yeah. I found that out last year.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, it was a rough.
Yeah, I heard, cause like Lawrence is the host for the Nigerian soccer team, and then there's a couple in Kansas City.
Mhm.
They're talking about like having like busing them down, and I've heard a lot of.
I mean, Wamigo does put on a dang good show.
Yeah, and I've seen a little bit of preview for the 250.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
Well, in Argentina, they're one of the more fanatic
Yeah.
fan bases, so there would be plenty of them. I'm sure that come up.
I'd want to be there. I was, which I was thinking that if I was in there, I'd want to be there for the show.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I go park at the Catholic Church. It's like just kind of it's just right on the edge.
Oh, yeah,
I've
just on the
done-
north edge.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try instead and go a little bit further east and then just be on a dirt road. I'll have the truck, so then I can put chairs in the truck bed. Just be, I think that's gonna work out better. Did you just watch from your house or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, Gary's so good. He's so good. And I was like,
Can you watch it from there?
yes. Those like, we just sit in our pool and you can see all of the.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I did think, isn't there a like giant hill park that would be south of Wamigo? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called.
Yeah, it's like I wonder if you
Oh,
can
the
get
one
up there and
south-
see it.
on the south of the river.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder if that would work.
Yeah. You'd probably be able to sit there and just, yeah, and then hop back on ZL.
All right,
Yes.
be back in it. That's not a bad idea. Let me just announce that to all the public then.
Mount Mitchell, yes, Mount Mitchell.
That's it, yeah.
Oh,
That's
the line was down. I waved
When
and
we-
walked around the building. I was wasted.
When we lived in Leavenworth, we were on a hill on the west side of town. From our front yard, you can see Fort Leavenworth always had a big one.
Oh, I bet.
One of the cities in North Kansas City had one. Weston had one. We could see them all from our front yard.
That's pretty nice. That's awesome.
Where I grew up down Coffee County around World, we live on a hill. It's second highest hill was us and a mile north was Heights. We could sit there and you could see Iowa, Colonies and Burnett.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, we could just be like.
They're getting started.
All with
Yeah.
all with the background of the Wolf Creek plant.
The glow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that healthy glow.
Yes. I never ate any fish from that lake, but it's so weird how warm it is when they,
Yeah, because of the underground or underwater cooling.
Yeah.
But yeah. Mm. Dan remarried, his wife was the geologist, that's
oh man,
biologist out there.
Wow. That's cool.
Interesting.
I bet.
It's all.
Good to know.
Heavy rain flooding starting.
But the majority of it might be just a little north and east of us, but
Well, this is kind of missed us, yeah.
yeah,
The 3 o'clock something, or 4 o'clock something is gonna be more.
yeah. That's what I saw too.
Be your Vermont kayak.
Yeah, yeah. I think even, well, it's not really funny, but I mean, even down here on Third Street, you know, it just fills up quick. You notice when they start building now, they're building up. They'll try to wait for that, yeah.
Oh, Commissioners, one thing I forgot to mention is that Michael and I will be in Asili and Salina tomorrow.
Oh, I saw that.
So if
yeah.
y'all try to reach out, I probably won't be able to. But I'll be watching for that Supreme Court decision.
I'll
Yeah,
send text all morning just to bother you.
I can do that too. Yeah, I'll have time.
All right.
Or I dropped this somewhere. Or that was in my phone.
Who's that? That's actually this one. If he search there, it shows up as when you it says he's talking. That's not enough. Well.
Jacob, are you watching that crane up there in the office?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's neat.
Easier train.
I think they replaced the first one they had in there. I think they rolled in a different one from the very first day.
How long is that supposed to be there?
A month,
A month?
About 2 months.
About 2 months.
2 months.
I was just
They
walking
moved it
through
off the
there.
grass, so they didn't.
Yeah,
Now it's concrete.
yeah. You're in a nice parking spot.
Gonna be smashed.
You're gonna be driving into your parking spot now instead of up.
More like down.
I just asked the guy how they get to the roof. He said that arm extends all
Uh-huh.
the way
Oh,
over
yeah,
there.
It does.
Telescope.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw the
neat.
trains they had at the stadium replacing the lights, putting in LEDs.
It's wild to see tires that are the size of people.
Yeah, right.
Spotters, buildings, radio communicating,
Yeah,
because it'll be a blind.
because he can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
As in the cat, the.
Hope they got somebody talented.
Well, it's true.
Ready, commissioners?
Yeah.
All right, good morning again. I'm just going to introduce Oleg Alba, who's here with Acre Strong, who's going to give us a presentation on data centers.
Morning, commissioners, and counselor. How do is it just,
Scroll down.
or like, how do you click?
It's not touched.
Yeah.
Oh, just down, oh, it'll scroll down and self.
You just wheel the mouse. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Perfect.
Left, right.
Okay. I am the managing partner of Acre Strong, and we are municipal advisors. We help Kansas counties negotiate energy deals and digital infrastructure deals. For context, we negotiated the highest pilot per megawatt in Kansas. So this is what we're all here for, right? What is this thing? What's a data center? Well, let's go back. Let's go back a little bit, and you guys remember these things?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what these things
Yeah.
look like today, right? So no more thingamajigs, right? No more widgets. That's what we all have on our phones. And so this is how it's all connected. Our phone, every single one of us is through our phone, and so those via cell tower, through the network, into a data center. Now, there's one thing that links it all together. It's this, right? This is what this is. That's what's being built all over the United States right now. Predominantly, prior to now, A lot of these facilities were built closer to urban centers. Now they're coming to rural America. So where's Kansas? Kansas is a secondary market. The primary markets are saturated and secondary markets more economically feasible. There's more space, cheaper electricity. The stars are lining up. It just, from an economic perspective, it makes more sense to build out here. Now, it's not just data center. It depends what it is based on scale. This right here, an enterprise one, so again, it's going to be your smallest one. A 200-person company can have an enterprise. It's a large server room in their facility. Well, this right here is what's being built out right now. We're talking about hundreds, sometimes thousands of acres, large facility. And I highlight this to you because the scale of the build out determines the impact. Think of a multifamily building. There's a difference between a 10-unit building and a 500-unit building. This is kind of the same. This is what I'm trying to reiterate. It depends on the scale of the build out. What's happening now is a lot of hyperscalers. And the reason for that is a lot of energy, a lot of compute demand. With artificial intelligence, it's much easier to build large facilities than small facilities. From your perspective and your seats, there's about 5 main things a commission should consider. And by the way, there's no silver bullet to this. There's no resolution say like, this is the resolution you should use. That doesn't exist. There's frameworks to think about this. And there's a way to say, what are the questions we should be asking? Should this come to go through our decision-making process and get to a point where we decide, does this make sense or doesn't make sense? First one is going to be your setbacks. And when you think about the setbacks is forget about the building. It's the surrounding facilities around the building. It's going to be the generators around the building. It's going to be the HVAC units around the building. That's really going to create that footprint. Now, what you're seeing across Kansas is this: developers will acquire land, and to not get the pushback, they will acquire so much land that there is no residential people. There's no residential communities or communities around them. So they're trying to mitigate that by just getting a larger land footprint. The next one is noise. There's going to be noise created. And one way these things are being mitigated and challenged right now is, what's the right noise limit? One is land. You just get so much of this land that by the time you get to a property line, it's de minimis. But another way to think about this is at the property line, what's the right decibel level? So think that will be something to think through. And the reason is there's turbines out there. There's turbines that are right now they're using gas turbines, but interesting enough, just fun fact, there's not enough gas turbines in supply. So they're retrofitting old ships and using the propeller blades as turbines. And next thing to think through is architecture. Now, the main things for this is there's the building, you have the IT infrastructure inside of this building, you'll have the power, and then you have the cooling. How does this all come together in more urban settings? These things will typically be required to look as the surrounding areas. Google, there's a famous data center in Paris that had to be very vogue to be allowed to be built in that surrounding area. I say this because it's, again, this is not a silver bullet, it's a framework to think through, does this make sense or not? And lastly, it's going to be your power. So your power is, they're going to have to build some of it, they can acquire some of the power, and then they have to make sure it matches up. Now, what you see on here, you see this one, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Your hyperscalers will want to build your tier 4, and all that means is power stops. There's backup power, so there's a redundancy layers. There's a lot of redundancy because the real value is not in the $6 million NVIDIA rack. So one rack is $6 million right now. And there's thousands of these inside the facility. That's not the value. The actual value is the compute that's coming in and out. right? That's the real economic value of these things. And because there's so much capital invested, from their perspective, they cannot go down because they're losing an absorbent amount of money and returns on that. And last thing is, it's gonna be the water. It's how much water do these things use? And again, I said, you have to think through this as in a framework because these things they're not all built the same. On this picture right here, this is a newer system that's being used, and what they're doing is they take these chips, they actually dip them into cooling fluids, special made cooling liquid that absorbs that heat. This type of setup, while more expensive, has a less impact on the water resource. There's no exactly number you say, okay, this is the right amount of water. That doesn't exist. It's what's the size of the facility? How do we monitor it? How do we cap the limit? What happens if you pass the limit? That's the framework to think through these things. Let me show you some of the size and scale. This is a copy of SpaceX's IPO documents. This is their S1. Colossus 1 and 2. Those are 2 data centers. They pay $1.25 billion a month in rent. I say that because the amount of money that is now looking for a home hasn't been seen before, right? Counties have made the mistake before of when they structure their community benefits agreements, they've structured it on a per square footage of the building. That's the wrong approach. When you do that, you have to think in terms of what is the compute, what is the megawatt, what is the amount of energy, because that's the economic value that the rent is based off of for them. I say that because historically, some counties have negotiated by themselves without having the right deal team, without the right experts in the room. They've left a lot of money on the table. I'm going to take questions now, but I tell you this from a resolution perspective, and county council, correct me if I'm wrong. By not having a resolution, it gives you latitude to cherry pick when somebody wants to build. But if you put a resolution together, I'm not saying not to or to, but you have to then follow that resolution. And because of the changing environment, it's happening so fast, sometimes it's beneficial to not, because should something want to come in, you still have the decision-making power at your, right there in those chairs, right? So I will pause and take some questions.
I think the answer to that last one, of how they make money, that so somebody wants to use that data center, they're paying them so much, like you say.
They're renting. So what they do is they rent energy by the month. So let's say the data center, let's say it's 100 megawatts, really small data center. They're going to rent one megawatt. They will rent that for a month. And that's how they collect their rent.
How they get.
So
because you were saying like our phones hooked there, our cell phones, does Verizon hook, or how do they, our cell phone, how are they getting paid by Verizon to hold stuff, or is it just when you go through that you're hooking to YouTube and it has places in it, or just trying to figure out how these things work?
Yeah.
Okay, so pictures. You got pictures?
Yeah.
You have pictures at home, like,
Much.
do you have electronic pictures
Yeah,
somewhere stored? Well, when they're stored on the cloud, that's an electronic footprint, and that has to exist somewhere. It doesn't exist on your phone anymore. It exists on a cloud, but all that means that it exists in an external. Think of it as it's a storage unit. It's an electronic storage unit, right? And so that's how they're storing data there. Now, the reason this is being done so because of artificial intelligence, to train artificial intelligence, it has to consume data and then it has to process that data. So some data centers are built only for data center training. Some data centers are built for the interaction between the user, me, I'll go on ChatGPT, I'll type something in, and it gets paid to process that data instantaneously. Think of it as a storage unit, it stores data somewhere.
But again, like I said, I've got pictures on my phone that are stored there.
Yep.
Who's paying for that? Or is that just part of my bill from Verizon?
Yeah, it's part of your bill. Yeah. So the predominant users are the large hyperscalers. Think Google. Google doesn't charge us for using Google, but because so many people use it, and then they will sell advertising.
All the ads they sell.
Exactly. And because so much of us as a population use it, they know they're going to get those eyeballs.
Huh.
Yeah.
Same with Amazon, same with Meta.
So, yeah, because like like on a monthly basis, like I pay $4.99 a month for iCloud, and where does that
Right.
go? I mean, that goes to some data center somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Interesting.
Exactly right.
So it's just us, it's paying for this, as consumers.
Us, big businesses as well. Businesses are paying for it as well because every business. Is there AI infrastructure now in the new build out? Like, no? Yes. The county's paying for it as well.
And I was gonna say, the public sector is paying for it too, just as much, which is
Exactly right. And
A lot of money, that's where you get the.
everybody's paying for it now. It's become everybody has a phone. Everybody is connected to one of these things. We're all paying for it through our subscriptions, through our phone subscription, through the apps, because the apps themselves, they have to pay fees to them to store their data somewhere.
In my understanding, there are a lot of these. We're just hearing about them now, but they've been around for
I think
a while.
around the world, approximately there's 4,000, and the forecast is there's going to be 7,000 by end of 2030, and that is the advent of artificial intelligence and the amount of data that it consumes.
I've read that one of the biggest collections of them is in Virginia outside
Correct.
DC,
Yep.
because that's a lot of it used in there.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
But most of those aren't the mega ones though, I said, because you say if they have to be built to look like a building or something, are they the giant ones or are they getting bigger as they?
All the new stuff coming online is very large. Now, that doesn't say that they're not building smaller scale, right? They're not building smaller facilities in particular areas. But when you think of economies of scale and to mobilize a construction crew and just to go through all the regulatory process of getting all this assembled, if you can build a large facility, and that is why these builders, these developers are going into rural America, because you cannot build exactly to your point, you can't build this large scale, it's not going to happen in Kansas City, right? You might build a smaller facility there in their industrial overlay district, but they won't be able to do that. Like they can't build a massive facility there.
Oleg, I have a question for you. So it seems that the impetus for the creation of these data centers is largely driven by AI, right? And so I just have a concern, or maybe it's negotiated in these agreements, that is there some kind of clause or provision that discusses what happens if AI demand isn't actually what they expect it to be as far as necessary use of that power?
Well, I think
because they're all building in anticipation of that being used.
Right.
But what happens if it doesn't get to that point?
Right. I guess that business model is not going to work for them, right?
It may not.
I don't have the answer to that. I think the business model won't work. Now, I will say, I know for a fact, a lot of these companies are now on the hook for liquidated damages because they've entered into agreements that they're gonna deliver X amount of these online,
Mm-hmm.
and they're severely delayed for various reasons, whether it's they can't get the power, or they can't get the zone, they can't get the permitting, or they can't get something else.
Right.
But from a county perspective, what you do is you ensure that you put language into your agreements, into that development agreement, that decommissioning agreement, that should something happen. Hey, this is how we're gonna decommission this, and before shovels hit the dirt, there needs to be bonds appropriately large enough to handle the cleanup.
Yeah.
Should this doesn't work, so now we know we're protected. It's not like we hope this works out for you and for us. No, you don't have to do that.
Right.
Right? It's a decommissioning bond, and prior to you doing any earthwork, and it has to be with a bank with a balance sheet large enough to handle this. It
Right.
can't be with a small, local 3-branch, small community bank. They just don't have the balance sheet for that.
Right. Well, what happens if all of the banks, because it has to be a large bank, so if there's any large scale issue, then these banks are going to have problems.
Well, I don't think that's a county problem. I think that's
Yeah.
we have bigger problems then, huh?
Yeah, probably so.
It falls apart
Yeah.
and everybody, we're all bankrupt.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, but it's really a gamble.
A lot of things are.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to these, I think communities, whether they're municipalities or counties, have to figure out, does this fit? Where does it fit? And it sounds like from your presentation, it's a case by case basis. So one may come in and want to do this and this, and it doesn't fit, and one may come in and it's a perfect approach.
It's exactly right. It's a case by case business, because what if it's somebody with a facility that's the size of a room in their business, that's a local business that builds a widget? Is it going to be the same type of criteria versus a large hyperscale?
I mean, technically, even within Riley County, we've got rooms with this setup in it.
And
Is that considered a data center?
well, it's storing energy locally, and that's exactly it, right? If it's storing local, if you have racks, you have the servers, and you're storing data. Now, the question is scale, and if
Right.
you have a large scale, that's when it's a different type of conversation, right? It's different if it's Freddy's and that's their corporate headquarters, and they want to make sure the milk gets delivered. It's different versus a large facility.
Another question, a two-part. You mentioned earlier on that you were involved in like a large pilot payment for data center, not data centers, but energy. Right?
Solar facility, Western Kansas. Yep.
So do you see companies, at least for doing these data centers, are they amenable to having these pilot payments as well? And also, are they expecting some sort of tax incentives?
So that's where we really help, because it's all a negotiation, right? They're gonna come in, and it starts off as a conversation and negotiation. And the first step to this is, prior to even one, they're amenable to everything because there's so much capital looking for a home. Now, the question is, how do you know that you're negotiating from a fair plane? And that's where we apply evaluation analysis. What is the revenue minus the operating costs? What does the profits look like? Because based on that information, you can gauge, like, does this seem appropriate and fair? Is it appropriate? Because let's just assume they're making $100 million in revenue annually, and they say, we want to give you a pilot of $100,000. Well, you don't have to be a math whiz to know that kind of don't seem appropriate. Right. And that's, once you have that information, once you understand what questions you should be asking and how to engage that conversation, that's how you structure a proper and a fair community benefits agreement. But it's also not just there, it's how do they impact? Do we structure a franchise fee? And a franchise fee is essentially, it's a tax on how they use the transmission system locally. Right? It's a conversation about what's the appropriate use for a tax abatement, whether a tax abatement is even appropriate. There's some places that say yeah, we think, you know, this is fair, and some places say, absolutely not. You're gonna come into the community and we're gonna host you. You know, you're not gonna get anything.
Yep.
And, until you see that situation, until that this presents itself, it's too soon to say what's appropriate because we're playing a hypothetical game. Sure. Right.
Thanks.
But the land itself, like, you know, we have probably they would want to go on agricultural land.
Yeah.
You know, they would have to get a whole lot of farmers, like we have a lot of farmers around here that were not gonna part with their land for anything. You know, then what do they do? Go somewhere
That's a
else.
problem. Sounds like that's a them problem, right? It's not, that's their business problem. That's not for us to solve, right? It's private negotiation between two private parties.
Well, there's zoning to think about, you know, and how we regulate that way.
No, but I understood your question is like, how do you deal with if a farmer doesn't want to sell their ground, right?
Mhm.
I think that's between those two private parties, right?
So if nobody wants to sell, then it happen.
Yep.
So.
That's,
Yeah,
I'm just
do
looking
have
at
it.
things from
Yeah.
that perspective here, and I'm not responsible for other entities at this point in time. Whatever they're gonna do is whatever they're gonna do, but that's what I look at here. Where geographically does this make sense at, and if it does at all? And I don't know where you're gonna go with it because land's a premium here. Most of it's publicly owned at this point in time, so maybe that's a separate conversation that needs to be had if they want to go to a specific location.
And absolutely, I encourage you to think to that even if it was appropriate, where would it, and just say, you know, maybe inside of this box, or maybe not at all, I don't know,
Yeah.
right? And guide them, say, we might be amenable to this here, but nowhere else, right? So I really encourage you to think through that, because maybe that's even better, instead of just, should this happen, they're going wherever they think is best for them. No, it's best for us
Yep.
here.
Right.
So what did they do in Western Kansas? You referred to that. Was that all, you know?
That was a alternative energy negotiation that we led, and so we got the highest payment in lieu of in Kansas history. It was for a solar energy deal. And I highlight that because historically, when counties negotiated with these entities, they never did a good job getting the right value back. Because if you don't know what the revenues and that balance sheet looks like, how do you know what's appropriate and fair?
Mhm.
And they always anchor really low. And typically counties ask for, you know, increase it by 10%, and they thought they were good, but when the first anchor is really low.
So it obviously hasn't worked well for the farmers out there.
We're making it a little better now.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Yeah.
I've seen some wind energy where they've made out really, really well, and they could basically just retire.
Well,
Yeah, but I
we're
mean,
talking about big pieces of land.
Right.
You know,
but we're seeing some of those generational farms not be so generational anymore too, because the kids don't want to stay there to do it. So what's the incentive, or maybe what's not the incentive?
Also looking at the pictures, does it all have to be a big flat? You know, because we've got a lot of, you know, Flint Hills around here, and they stack them, all the pictures you see, they're a big, massive flat spot.
You could do it. I'm sure you can engineer into where it doesn't have to be flat, but it just makes it so much more expensive.
Yeah.
And earthwork is incredibly expensive.
Mhm.
So
Well, in the rock, they got over deep here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I would assume, like, you know, I would assume the best way is to do it the most economical way. And that's why, like, a flat surface, because now you don't have to do a lot of earthwork, no rock. And it's just easier. That's why I don't build these things, you know, on a really sharp slope. Yeah. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Jesse Hubbard at 10:50. There's just so many.
Thanks.
I don't get that. If they have to do that with that substation, if they release it that whole truck, but as of my.
The thing with this too is
Lights on, and then.
there's
she's
no in
like, "Oh, wait,
between.
I just
Either
had to
you
turn
love
it
them or
on."
you hate them. And there's so much misinformation on both sides of the equation with it too. Yeah.
I
So,
figured it out.
you know,
She was.
yeah.
Situation too, where.
There's other ways to
she
use.
trying-
You know, technology is,
They put it on the moon, you know.
The car wouldn't.
technology is updating as we speak. So, I mean, who knows what this is gonna look like in 2 years or 5 years.
Hey, you gotta pull the.
Maybe offset it.
I'm sure with all the negativity on there, they're trying to find more creative and innovative ways to do what needs to be done, and
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
what's
she
gonna
doesn't know,
happen.
Somebody in a. Being taken over by AI. huh?
Guys got, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Glad I'm at my age.
But she's an advocate. And the pupils supposed to be Friday. She was, well, you're gonna have to get up with me there. And I'm like, I'm sure, but while you're still there, you have to get a pair of pliers.
It's just.
And pull
Yeah, there you go.
She said that, my wife took a picture last time, she said, which one? Because the cable started to break, so there's like 7 of them. And I'm like, pick one.
Just, oh, man. Yeah, there you go. That's fun.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Okay, just.
Good morning. Sorry, I haven't used this yet, so let me get in here. Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Jesse Hubbard with Riley County Community Corrections. I'm here to present to you the Joint Corrections Advisory Board, or the JCAB's funding recommendations for the calendar year 2026 County Special Alcohol Funds. Kind of a mouthful. So as a reminder, the county special alcohol tax funds are generated through taxes collected from establishments within the county that sell alcoholic beverages. State statute places restrictions on how these funds may be used, requiring that their principal purpose, in a nutshell, needs to be used for the prevention and treatment of alcoholism and drug abuse. So the JCAB reviewed all of the submitted applications we received for this year. They evaluated each request based on the statutory requirements, community needs, program effectiveness, and our available funding. To summarize the 4, we had a request from Be Able for $10,000 to support a part-time substance use disorder counselor position. Riley County Community Corrections requested $5,866.95 to send up to 3 staff members to a Tall Cop Emerging Drug Trends Conference. Pawnee Mental Health requested $5,200 to send up to 4 attendees to the Missouri Association of Treatment Court Professionals Conference. And the House Cafe in Ogden requested $15,000 to support its Early Learning Center, to provide direct assistance to local youth, and to fund activities and events at the Teen Center. The JCAB did vote to fully fund the requests of Be Able, Community Corrections, and Pawnee Mental Health. However, they determined that the application for the House Cafe met some statutory requirements, but the portion specifically related to the Early Learning Center did not, and that was $10,000. So they voted to approve the $5,000 to support the local youth and teen center events. At the time of the meeting, the total in the account was 29,697.52, and the grant requests would have totaled 36,000, exceeding the amount we have in there. If funds were dispersed as we voted on, we would have an estimated $3,630 left in the fund, and any funds remaining would be carried over to next fiscal year for funding considerations. So I'm just presenting those to you for your second approvals.
Well, I kind of have some concerns about just paying for conferences here. It doesn't really have a direct impact, and these dollars need to have a direct impact. And I know they're learning measures there, but to me, those are funds that should be budgeted by the organization itself, or in this case, community corrections within their own budgets to do that. And this should go to things that, I don't have a problem necessarily with House Cafe or the Able's request, but to actually do something directly.
I can say, speaking on behalf of the board, since I'm the one here, I know historically we had denied, like we used to do the after prom, it would fund the after prom, things like the drunk goggles for the kids, the events. And I know the board decided that that was kind of a one and done fun time event, but there's no long lasting impact on it. So they have encouraged the school to do things like download curriculum or things that they can teach the kids directly, or do training that they can turn around and continue to have an impact on with the training. So those are definitely concerns that I can take back to the board if that's something you would recommend.
I would think so.
I have a question on the funding itself from your sheet here. Is this a new thing that showed what income in 21 was 3,000 and now it's 22?
Yes, so it is from the collection of taxes in the county, and we used to not have that many businesses, but we've got a couple of breweries now that are in the county, and so that has generated income that it used to be 2,000 or 3,000 a year, but now we're getting closer to 10,000 to 15,000 a year.
Well, it says 22, but is it only, it's not the ones inside city?
The money comes from businesses in the county.
Outside of any of the
Yeah,
cities.
the ones from the city would be handled by the city of Manhattan Special Alcohol.
I knew they had.
Yes.
Technically, Aggieville Brewing was out in the county.
Yep.
Does that include convenience stores when they sell 3-2 beer?
I don't believe so. I believe it is, and I could be wrong on that, but I believe it is like
per drink.
Yes, I believe so. 'Cause I don't think we get anything from like Dara's or.
But does it, from the smaller cities, do we get it inside there?
Yes, if it's in the county and outside of the city limits of Manhattan.
Outside of Manhattan. I know there's some. The north, communities have some.
Yes.
That's what's just curious of why it exploded, but I guess it's for what's grown outside of.
Well, look at our world today. More people are drinking. I don't know if that's true or not.
He's hoping.
Yeah, I bet you are. So.
I don't have you're gonna have an ending balance, credit the $3,600. Where did you say that was gonna go?
That rolls over to next year and would just be added to next year's balance. We typically just open up the funding once a year. There's no hard and fast rule on it. We open up the funding once a year, but we have had an occasional need for someone that needs it throughout the year that might come. Typically, it is for a training thing. I know we had a CASA employee that we assisted with some training to help her. I'm not sure what it was. I can't remember, but they came to us in the middle of the year and requested to submit an application, and the board was fine with that. So, but typically we don't do anything outside of that grant period where we accept funding from. Usually it's in the spring.
And really, you're spending 25 money this year, right? I mean, it's.
A little bit of that would be from January through April, but most of it is 25.
Carryover last year.
Yes, sir.
There's no guessing what it's going to be now.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
I do see your point a little bit, though.
I think,
Training,
I think
that does, but what else could they, I don't know what other options there are.
you know, I guess I can't speak on community corrections behalf, but Pawnee could use that towards actual services provided. I think in the future, I think we need to be clear about what our priorities are with these dollars.
That's
Maybe we
because
haven't
they
done
could
that,
use
so.
services and
Yeah.
their other money goes
Correct.
for the training instead of calling this money.
Right.
See that.
I think the other two, the House Cafe and Be Able there, those are going to directly impact services. Wouldn't have a problem with that.
So it's a training.
And we want to do it now or just say next year, start looking.
Yeah, I think we need to prioritize if indeed we want to do that, but
Mhm.
kind of probably late for this.
Late for this one, but next year, try to
Okay.
point out to them that
Definitely let the board know that that's your wish.
that's kind of what we'd rather steer towards.
Okay, absolutely.
In the meantime, how do we want to approach this?
I'd go ahead and approve it for this year, but
Okay.
just kind of give direct. Like you said, we're in the middle of it now.
Yeah.
Changing, because if that's what they've done before, but just kind of going forward, rearrange it a little
Yeah.
better.
Mhm.
Okay. So we just want to go with the JCAB
Yeah.
recommendation, okay. Let's see. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the award amounts of $10,000 to Be Able. 50 or 5,866.95 to Riley County Community Corrections, 5,200 to Pawnee Mental Health, and 5,000 to House Cafe.
I'll second.
As I moved and seconded to approve the county special alcohol task fund allocations as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make sure to get that updated with the
Okay,
board.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Time for Jake.
Speaking of alcohol.
I don't know if you have something on here, so I'll just let you guys figure it out.
Okay, good.
Where'd it go?
How you doing, guys?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
They're doing good.
Good. We're here to present for alcohol sales at the Riley County Fair.
State your names.
Oh, sorry, Jake Bogelai with Manhattan Brewing Company.
Andrea De Jesus with the Fair Board and A&H Farm.
Sorry, still not used to formalities.
It's okay.
So anyway, yes, we're here to commit to submit for alcohol sales at the Riley County Fair. We met with the Riley County Fair Board. They approved it. Would have been last week.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. And so now we're here to present it to you guys to see about approving it. What we're looking at is a beer garden in between Potter Hall and the beef building, the casement building. There's a grass lot that's right there. Everything will be kept in that one area. Manhattan Brewing Company will be having a beer tent with beers made in Riley County. So every brewery that's in town, we're going to buy beer from them and serve it there, showcasing beers made right here in the county. And then
A&H Farm will also be there doing some like lemonades or slushies like that. There would be adult slushies, and we'd be using Kansas liquor if we can't find it here in Riley County.
we're looking at like alcohol sales being from
I think we said 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
And we may not be open that whole time, but that's just the option. So for example, like on Thursday, we may not be, but on Saturday, when there's more people there, we possibly could be open those full hours.
Okay. Who's taking on the liability?
it would be our insurance.
Okay,
They-
okay. How much do you need to get involved in, don't you?
Yeah, I'll need to get involved in some because this is occurring on
County property.
county property. Yeah. So what I can't recall what property exactly is this?
It's Putcher Hall is the main
Okay.
building to the
what I
south,
thought.
and then there's Casement that's to the north with the beef barn. So there's a grassy area just in between those. Vendors set up to the what, or to the east of that.
Mm.
So we'll be behind the vendors. There's an entertainment tent that goes right there. And so we'll have flags and like a fenced off area right there.
So it'd be the county's portion of Seco.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're looking at having like tables set up, so you don't have to be 21 to enter the area. So that way families can come in, they can grab food and have a place to sit down and sit. But yeah, we'll have tables set up throughout that whole area, like entertainment that whole time.
I can understand beer. I'm not crazy about having hard liquor sold there.
And it would also be like cider, and it's not like shots. It's gonna be like you get a lemonade and it have mixed drink would be in it. So it's not shots or anything like that.
Wasn't there something there? Oh, well, you got Farmwell. I thought there was already something set up there last couple of years.
I
in
think that
area.
dealt with the rodeo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not up front, not
Daniel said no.
alcohol. No, in that space that you're talking
There's
about.
an entertainment tent that's set up there, so there is some live music, there's some acts that come in. And it's used as a seating area already for people to eat.
Oh.
And we would put some more tables out there as
Just put
well.
it adjacent to that. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought there was
adjacent.
something, I couldn't remember what, but there was something in that. space.
Yes, yeah, the tent sets up really close to Potter Hall,
Yeah.
so we won't be in the tent, we would be outside of the tent.
They do a veterans night there, the first night of
That's
the
what I was-
rodeo. that
Yeah,
they're-
that's what I was saying, veterans do something.
So then the rodeo still has theirs too. So there'll be 2 alcohol tents.
Yeah, they're separate, and it's our understanding that that doesn't leave the rodeo grounds, so you can't take a beer and walk around the fair area. Ours would be the same way, that you would just have in that area, you can drink it, if you walk out, you'd have to leave it there or dispose of it.
Yeah, 'cause the other one is within the rodeo.
Yeah.
Area.
Mhm.
I know Daniel, you had, because you sent us some notes and questions about this. Or, not necessarily concerns, but just clarifying what can and can't be done.
Oh, and so yeah, my clarification is a lot of times we work close to the fair board, so I was just explaining that if I'm kind of quiet during this, it's just where I had to make the distinction that as a K-State employee, I had to step back and let the fair board handle it. So so that was just my clarification that at this point, that's why normally I like to walk hand in hand with the fair board, but I have to take a step back and allow this to be handled fully by the fair board.
But you
So
guys can't do anything without.
correct. Yeah, since our mission from K-State is for the youth development side. So like not speaking in favor or against here, but just saying if just for the general public or for the commissioners that we have to be hands off with our mission from the university. So like I said, not for or against, but just abstain from the conversation and yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. But if you have any questions, I can help with vendors, whatnot, or questions, I'm happy to answer them.
There are a couple more points to the beer garden too. We will have, there's like 2 entrances that we're planning on with a security guard there at each one, making sure alcohol doesn't leave that premise.
Oh, okay.
And then also, one of our distributors, Standard Beverage, is donating a tap trailer that we can actually have, that'll be set up there the whole time. It'll be looking pretty nice. We'll also have like tents and everything set up where it'll look really nice and professional.
Yes, and we do like wine slushy, so we'll use local wine for that as well.
So somebody, are you competing with the Cobb Valley? One that they have set up there?
You talking about the rodeo?
That?
I don't know that I would call that competition because you won't be able to take our drinks
Take it
into the
back.
rodeo. The rodeo can't bring them out. Yes, and the way we're doing it with the fair board is what is being paid is going to go back to fair board projects for the youth. So they have been discussing of using it for the prizes for the or for the fair 4-Hers. So that's where the money that is made. There's going to be profit here, but our fee that we pay to the fair board will go back to the kids.
If I'm not mistaken, they only serve at the rodeo just during the times of the rodeo. So wouldn't it be that 11 to 11 window? It'd be just the.
Yes, and just the nights of the rodeo.
Also with the rodeo, they're limited to cereal malt beverages and beer only. So, and of course you guys are seeking kind of the full gambit.
Right.
Here.
Well,
There's
you
a
know,
way to do that.
maybe the fair is for families and kids more than serving alcohol, especially hard liquor.
One of the comments that somebody made is people are bringing alcohol in their own containers and walking around with it anyway. So that is what I have been told. I do not know. I don't have any firsthand knowledge of
2
that.
years ago or 3 years ago, we had a security issue outside of that area
Yes,
and alcohol was involved.
And so this is one of the things that we spoke to is they thought this might curb it a little bit. Because you can have a drink there. It's not gonna be priced at the point of you're gonna come in and buy 10 drinks. It's, I can eat with my family, have a drink while I'm eating versus hiding it, so to speak.
Yeah.
You probably have a little more. And I think it's been, and Jake, you can speak on it, it's been done at other places.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we had a lot of success with Mayfest. We had success at Tulip Festival. They do really well with that. They have it open around where people can walk around, and it is very, very family friendly at Tulip as well. I mean, other fairs do it. I mean, obviously the state fair, we can walk around and drink beer and alcohol throughout the state fair now.
They do it out in Hayes too for their summer music tour there. And
Yeah.
it's on their fairgrounds just off of there.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to we're serving beer at the Juneteenth festival that's gonna be down in City Park. Obviously, they do it at Arts in the Park right now too. They have full alcohol licenses there. All of them with 0 incident. I mean, most of the time, like Andrea pointed out, price point wise prevents you from going out there and just getting hammered drinks. But also it's very family friendly atmosphere. And that's exactly to your point, the fair is very family friendly. And I mentioned this to the fair board. I'm very selfish with this. I would love to be able to walk around and drink a beer with my kids, go around and do stuff because I'm not gonna ride the rides with them, so I'll just watch them. But that's just like, and there's a lot of families in this town that do the exact same mindset. I mean, as we see it at the brewery's very family friendly. A lot of those families come out to the fair, they come out to Mayfest, they did all that too, so.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, no.
Yes, and we are family friendly at our farm as well, and we serve full liquor. And there's people grab a glass of wine, or they'll have a wine slushy, and then they're walking around the farm with their kids. But we also have had 0 incidents. And then we serve them separately containers so they can tell the difference, which we'll be serving. It will be different than what the vendors are serving their stuff in.
Gotcha.
And one of the bigger reasons too, why we're asking for the full liquor license is not necessarily because of liquor. Also, wine is above 6%, most of it, almost all of it.
Mhm.
And so having that, I mean, obviously we have Liquid Art Winery here, I mean, be able to serve their kind of stuff here it'd be really nice. Showcasing just stuff made in Riley County.
And they've got different types of, I call them fruity cider, but
Yes.
yeah, that would be
Yes.
above 6% probably too.
That is correct,
Okay.
yes.
You have to get separate licensing in the state for doing, I mean, I know there's rules on what. On liquor licenses.
No,
yours is transferable. Or
Yeah,
I
yes,
guess.
full catering license, and obviously you guys do as well.
Yeah, we have a
Oh,
catering, or
so-
getting one for Riley County, yes.
Oh, okay.
That full liquor license for the state.
Oh, okay, because I'm sure the state has their fingers in it.
No,
Yes.
Okay. I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, I think.
But
The motion? Okay, we'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the what am I approving? Approve the Riley County Fair alcohol sale.
I'll second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the Riley County fair alcohol sales. All in favor?
Aye.
You voted for it?
I guess.
Thank you, guys.
I'll need to
Yeah.
put together a resolution again,
Yeah.
accepting that, but we already have the framework for it, so it should be pretty easy.
So, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm taking more time, but I thought on the resolution it already allowed for sales at the fair.
Yeah,
saw
for the related to the Call Valley Rodeo.
Oh, okay.
So, and only limited up to beer.
Oh, gotcha.
So it didn't do any alcohol, so we'll have to add you in there.
Basically, it's a formality. Okay.
I mean, and obviously anything you need from this, just let us know.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you at the fair.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, can I abstain
Yeah, you can abstain
instead?
or vote no.
Or yes.
But you did.
And abstain legally means no.
Yeah, that's what.
But that's your choice.
Anybody object to letting Michael start a little early?
No, we want to start early. if you like. 3 minutes is no big deal.
Copies of the statement
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, no, she hadn't gotten it to us.
Morning again, Commissioners. Michael Hawthorne, Assistant County Counselor, here today to discuss a nuisance property at 2820 Nelson's Landing. This is the first one of these nuisance properties where we've secured convictions. Back at the end of March, there was a bench trial where the diversion we had in place was revoked and the landowner was convicted of the 5 convictions or 5 charges we went forward on. Since that time, I've developed this statement. As the board is aware, Riley County has a specific statutory enactment allowing us to remediate these nuisance properties. The process we follow requires us to file a written statement with the county clerk, followed by a resolution ordering the property owner to clean up the property, giving them 10 days to do that from the date they're served the order. And then if that doesn't happen, then we go ahead and clean it up, essentially pay someone to clean it up ourselves and put the costs of that on the property's tax rolls. So this is the first one of these properties where we've secured the convictions. I have written this statement that's functionally a letter describing what the nuisance is, that's been reviewed by myself, Jacob, and Darren from Planning and Development. This is the first step that we need to undergo to be able to remediate the property. Just briefly stated, this is what I would call an abandoned house, and Darren is free to chime in here, that has all the grass is overgrown. There's junk all throughout the yard. There's some damage to the house itself. There is a shed in the back that is liable to collapse from a heavy rain at this point, I think. And there are
Today.
might not be an issue. And there are 2 unregistered and I'd say defunct vehicles on the property. Darren, anything to add to that?
There's some piles of odds and ends stuff.
Wasn't there was also a concern about people being like hiding out in the back? I thought there was a fire concern. Is that? Yeah, if you could.
So, yeah, I believe it was probably a year and a half ago. There was electrical cords running from a pole in the backyard to the house that caused a fire that they had to respond to and take care of the fire, because I think it was running the refrigerator freezer that was inside the house at the time. So, yeah.
Okay. Is it occupied?
It is not. I believe the property owner now lives in Junction City. The house is not in good shape, but I would say nobody should be there. From what we know, nobody is there.
From my knowledge, it's just items from his deceased wife and stuff like that that he doesn't want to get rid of yet. So a lot of sentimental stuff, but yeah.
And that's all stuff inside the house. We're more concerned with the state of the property. Which again, overgrown, there's trash thrown all about it. So if the board is, if this is what the board's wanting to do, the first step would be to sign this statement, file it with the county clerk, and then we will proceed with drafting a resolution ordering the cleanup of the property. I think the more interesting part will be the exact parameters we put on that and how we go about procuring someone to clean up the property. But for right now, the first step is just if the board wants to sign that statement.
Yeah, fine with that. Okay. Why don't we put this into effect?
Exactly. We're finally getting some results 5 years later.
We fought the state
for 3 years, and
yeah,
it takes obviously a judicial process that takes some time to. Yeah, we can finally say we won one as we need to.
Yeah.
Redo that.
Speaking,
next year.
yeah. Speaking of which, I have reached out to Tom and Dick and started getting that process going to try to make it permanent.
Oh, he asked me about that at the legislative breakfast, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion for.
Yeah, we do.
One in here.
Well, I'd move to approve the statement pursuant to the Riley County Unincorporated Area Nuisance Abatement Act.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the statement pursuant to the Raleigh County Unincorporated Area Nuisance Abatement Act. On favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Commissioner.
Michael.
All in the day's work.
What? Maybe if we show before and after pictures to the state.
Yeah.
and like,
Not
yeah,
a-
I think that's
we
what
definitely
Sedgwick-
have those.
Not a
I
bad
think that's what
idea.
Sedgwick County did when they were renewing theirs at the time we were starting ours with Crawford County's the other one, but
yeah.
that's probably not a bad idea.
That's
quite
a- yeah.
honestly.
We got them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to get to after, but yeah.
This is what we can do with this.
Before and after at the same place, it didn't.
It's probably gonna be similar to that, yeah.
Is there any other business? that-
Yeah, I've got one item. This came up in the city commission meeting on Tuesday. Apparently Manhattan has got a plan in place to remove citizens from the city limits. Thus placing them back out in the county for budgetary purposes, and I don't know which official said it, but you know, basically they've said that it'll be Riley County's tab to pick up, and we're confident we'll figure out a way to do it. So they just want to dump that on us, and I don't think, quite honestly, I don't think our rural citizens should have to pick up the difference in the city of Manhattan for fiscal mismanagement. So it's something that we need.
De-annex.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Portion to this.
well, I don't know, and I
You
don't
can't-
even know if it's legal,
You
so.
can, it's 12504 is the statute.
But do the residents have a say in it?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
'Cause that
It
seems to be-
seems that the law
I didn't catch
states that if there's an injury to private rights, that there may be a way to determine that they can't de-annex.
Well, because another thing,
What about sewer and
that's,
water? and
they're sewer and water, so they can charge, if they're
Yeah.
not in the city limits, they can
They're
charge.
still gonna,
double.
and they said that in there, they're still gonna charge them for the infrastructure use, but
Because they charge double for outside, or
Right.
close to double
Right.
for outside the city.
which is
limits.
probably one of the reasons why they're doing it.
Well, where would it be?
I didn't see it.
Well, it said residential.
Yeah.
So
it was just-
areas of residential, because residential areas are a loss of revenue. You don't
They wanna
generate
keep-
enough property
They want
tax.
to keep commercial.
Commercial, retail.
Then we'd have to go into specific neighborhoods and fix the streets.
Yep.
Too, that's.
And once again, it's the game that they continue to play. I mean, we're the bad guys in this situation, but they dump everything on us. They dumped the health department on us several years back. Basically walked away from a sales tax discussion that forced us to have to do some other things. So they're not concerned about us.
What can we do?
That's
what he's studying.
Yeah, that's what I.
I just wanted to mention that and make sure that we're all in line with them looking through that.
The issue that seems to be is that any ability to resist or protest this is going to be based on a private individual, not a public entity.
We can't complain that the residents.
Yeah,
go, "Wait a
well, and one thing the city ought to be seriously considering is if they do this, it could affect their bonds, their bond rating. Their ability to
minute,
pay.
population drops."
Absolutely. And so thinking about this, and I did read one case early this morning. It was in 1901.
I heard you say you're
Yeah.
1901.
But they talked briefly about bondholders could be injured by
Oh, yeah, they
removal.
already have bonds in place and they're saying, oh yeah, we're getting rid of.
Yeah. So
There's a lot.
there is some serious concern. Now the question is whether or not we as a county entity can do anything.
Oh.
That's something I need to still spend some time looking into.
Just wanted to make sure we're
No,
okay.
but I hadn't heard
Okay,
about
yeah.
that.
Did they vote on it or it was just presented?
I think it was just presented, through social media channels. Somebody got it over to me. Like I said, I didn't watch the meeting on Tuesday, so that they're going through some difficult budget discussions and obviously this is part of that discussion.
Taking it, no, no.
Yeah.
So you might be back in the county. Welcome back, Greg.
Well, I think it's a matter that we, for obvious reasons, need to be involved in.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
no, yeah.
I just
Something we need to
can't see
keep
it
on.
happening for a lot of reasons, though.
Yeah, it seems like a stretch, but
Electricity, cable.
Electricity and those are private entities.
yeah.
Water would still be
Water,
city.
sewer, roads.
Yeah.
Sidewalks.
Sidewalks.
Part infrastructure.
Parks.
Parks, yep.
Mm.
Hydrants.
Fire.
Yeah, yeah, fire would be on us. So, something to think about.
Yeah.
Was anybody?
But remember, we're the enemies here
Yeah,
always.
we're the bad guys.
So, yeah.
I mean, fundamentally, it may help the city in their budget, but the individuals, the citizens are gonna be absolutely. I mean, their prices are gonna go way up.
Yeah.
Double.
Has any other city done this? Has anyone
Yeah, I'm
done-
sure it happens.
Where-
Yeah, I mean, that's what the statute's in there. It's in there for a
They
reason.
want to de-annex this, but then they're.
Want to annex to the east,
Upsetting.
and you
The-
can figure out why,
Annex
can't
South
you?
County.
Connect the dots.
The unfortunate thing is that since there does not appear to be a lot of case law in it, that is usually an indication that there's not much to,
It hasn't
Just-
been tested.
yeah, there's not maybe anything to contest.
Well, I think we need to look at that, and if there is ability to do that, we need to use it and set the case standard then.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And I'm
we
okay.
can look at it. We'll look at it.
Good luck, Michael.
That was my, yeah. Yeah, that was my 2 cents. I don't have anything else. That was
Not enough.
I had one, not. For one thing I wanted to thank Amanda, that was, I don't know where you found that, but that was a good presentation on
Yeah.
data centers that, a factual, which it's hard to find factual information.
Actually, I was gonna say, yeah, I met Oleg at
Oh, did you?
KCCA.
Oh, okay.
Gave a similar presentation and
That's a good.
had a
I've seen
couple
him
nights there.
before.
Yeah.
I've seen him before.
He seems like to me anyway, he knows the stuff. and
Yeah.
He doesn't take a pro or con
Just
approach
saying-
to it. This
saying
is what it is.
You do and you
Yeah.
gotta do this.
Yeah. And we had
Yeah,
separate conversations after the conference too, and so I thought it was good to bring him along.
no, it was a good information. The other thing, and I know we usually don't start budget till we got the whole thing, but I wondered if we could go ahead and get appropriations, but we don't need the whole thing done. We got the appropriations request. We could start looking at those. And I know because we said we're gonna say 1.5 mils, and we don't know exactly, but we can get a good idea for it, because we haven't stick to that, to the dollar, but just a range, that we could look at that. And there were also some wage classifications we were wanting to change, that we could start looking at those.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, you're planning on doing that on the 18th, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer. So we are bringing several things back. So one, of course, on the 11th, we're talking about the reorganization, which will also include the administration budget, so I'll do a
Request, yeah.
presentation for that.
Okay.
Mhm. And then we have new and expanded positions scheduled for the 18th, and we're also going to include that reclassification of some of the jobs. So,
Oh.
you know, we had discussed the commission's pay. I know the county clerk pay has
Yeah.
come up as well. So we're going to discuss all of that on the 18th.
Oh, okay. All right. So it is good. Okay.
Yes.
What about appropriations? Can't we start on that sometime?
Yeah,
I know,
absolutely.
I know we're, right now, our days are getting full.
Yeah.
We used up our short ones, I think, already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have-
it's so full.
Yes, rather than wait for the whole thing,
Yeah, we could do
start
one.
nice at a time, because it's a process.
Absolutely. So I was, of course, going to bring back extension on Monday for you guys to
Oh, yeah,
approve.
Do that one. Yeah.
Because he's taking it to his board tonight. So I'll put that on the business meeting, just, you know, for a yay or nay. Really, it'll be quick. But if you want me to start bringing back appropriations on, you know, starting Thursday, or I can start Monday. even.
Yeah, just get
Sometime.
the sheets that you've done before, you know,
Yes.
get those spreadsheets worked out of what
Yes.
we've done before and what they're requesting. So
Yep. I
start
can do
start
that.
that
It's just
process.
when we have them come in, they're all at the same time. It's, you know, be nice to separate them out a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, well,
Sure. I can do that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right.
Right, we'll- Piece by piece, we'll get it done. We're gonna have to take
Rather
off.
than get it all. at
Yeah,
once, try to get
yeah.
a piece at a time. Take a bite at a time.
Yeah, I like that. What did, I know I wasn't here on Monday due to the voice safe thing. What did we decide on the extension budget? I didn't have a chance to go back and look at the live
We
stream.
didn't make a
Just
decision
accepted
because
it.
it's just two.
Oh, okay.
We just accepted it, but we'll, like I say, vote. There was some 3%. Something, what the raise, was it 3? Okay. Which they hadn't raised it.
Oh, it's been 3 years probably, yeah.
Okay, but no, we didn't make any vote on it. Wait until
Okay,
you
thanks.
here.
Okay, I guess we'll do that on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
All right.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Could I make a motion that we adjourn the June 4th meeting of the Riley County Commission?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the June 4th meeting of the Riley County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Might want to open. that
Stay dry
door
out
back up
there.
there.